What's up, guys? I'm here in my garage. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Justin from Out of the Basement here, and I know what you're thinking. Why am I in my garage? Well, you see, everybody in my house is asleep, so if I did a review and got all crazy, then they would be awake and they would be mad at me, and I didn't want that to happen. So I went out here in my garage and I set up some lighting for you guys. Got my mic set up, got my laptop, got my tripod. We're all ready to go here. Just got back from seeing Avengers Infinity War, and I gotta say, old Uncle J-Rick, sometimes he likes to be proven wrong. I actually really enjoyed Avengers Infinity War, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, you would know that I have taken a dark turn on superhero films in general, both Marvel and DC, just because especially recent movies like Phase 3 of the MCU and beyond, and pretty much all of the DC Justice League type movies have just been the same cookie cutter plot, team up against the bad guy plot that I absolutely hate. It's way too formulaic. And I do prefer the superhero films that mix up the genre, something more like Deadpool or Logan. And let me say that this was refreshing. Now, I'll get into some things that I liked and a little bit of the things that I disliked. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. It's going to be super quick because it's spoiler-free and you guys have all already probably seen it, or you'll probably be seeing it tonight or tomorrow or the next day. So, number one, my second most favorite thing about this movie is that it was not as formulaic as especially Phase 3 MCU films. It did not feel like that same cookie-cutter storyline. Now, I cannot get into specific details about why it's not cookie-cutter, but it's such a nice change of pace for Marvel Studios films, and you're into the story right off the bat. Right off the bat, they just drop all this stuff on you. And there's no typical Marvel boring setup or anything like that. They just drop you in and you go. And like I said, it was just so refreshing. The story was very refreshing, very unique and different. The characters together, I mean, this has been building up for 10 years now. Iron Man came out in 2008, so 10 years it's arguably been building up to this. And there are so many different actors, actresses, superheroes, and they all just come together, and there's very unique storylines and situations because they'll take a character from maybe Guardians and pair him with one of the Avengers that you did not see coming. A lot of teams split up and go with different people, and there are plenty of different storylines. Some are better than others, but with all of these actors and superheroes, you can't really have all of them together in one scene and have that work. I mean, it would be really difficult. So you get all of these unique situations with characters that you thought were never going to meet and interact with each other, and it was honestly really awesome seeing that. The main villain, Thanos, what do I have to say about him? Well, a villain in a Marvel Studios superhero movie had character development. Another thing that I did appreciate was some of the humor did land. I mean, Marvel cringe humor, dad jokes are always going to be in this film, these types of films. It's just something I've had to accept and move on. I still hate that aspect of it, but there were some humorous jokes that landed for me, and they usually never land, so that's something. There were plenty of great action scenes as well, and there wasn't really an overuse of CG. There wasn't any giant CG rhinos coming out of the screen. Obviously, a large majority of these types of movies have to be CG because, they can't actually emulate that in real life. But it was used in moderation, and none of the CG was really bad. And my number one favorite aspect of this film is that Marvel Studios finally put on their big boy pants and got some balls. They did some really risky things in this movie, especially the fantastic ending. When the movie ended, my theater was completely silent and a lot of people started cursing because they were so angry with the ending, and it's a little ambiguous. I know some people that can't handle it. They need everything to be complete. They want the story to be complete in one movie. But I think we've known for a long time now that these films are split up into two movies. The Infinity War storyline is two movies. But I absolutely loved the ending. And there were a lot of things in this film that I was not expecting. It took all of my expectations, my negative expectations, and completely turned them around on me and actually gave me exactly what I wanted. Is a little bit darker story elements. And I'm not trying to be one of those people that dark and gritty, but I've always just wanted the Marvel movies to have a little more stakes in them. And in this movie, you definitely feel like the threat is real, and there are some stakes, and there are some consequences for what is going on. Not everything is rainbow sunshine in this movie. I think I even heard a child crying during some of these scenes, and I loved it. I absolutely enjoyed the more risky things that they were able to do. It completely twisted my expectations, and really, some of the things I called, I was like, I would talk to my friends and be like, oh, I hope this thing happens in this exact way. And, we would always say, they would never do that. Well, they did it. So, props to them. So, let me get into some of the negatives. There are some negatives that I have. There are very minor pacing issues with some uninteresting storylines, because there's 6 different storylines with, 3 to 4 heroes at a time. And some are better than the others. And when it came to those others, I was just found myself thinking, all right, let's get back to that other stuff. Some other things, there are some logic issues. I found myself thinking, why doesn't Thanos just kill them? Especially when he starts racking up those Infinity Stones. I mean, he starts getting stuff done. And there are just some situations where I'm like, you could have killed him or her. But I guess, Thanos cares more about balance than really murdering anyone. I mean, you could argue that against that point. But anyway, and of course, there is an amount of Marvel cringe dad joke humor that I absolutely hate in these films, because they take super serious moments and then they turn it into a joke, just like The Last Jedi. And that's just why I don't like Marvel cringe humor. It takes you out of the moment, But anyway, when I'm comparing this to other recent superhero films, I would give this a higher score. I'd give this an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, shocking. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I'd definitely pick it up on Blu-ray, and if you're more lukewarm on the superhero genre, I would still go see it, just because it's a nice change of pace. It's refreshing, and stuff actually happens. There are stakes, and you feel like there's an actual threat. You are actually invested in the story as well. And if you're a hardcore superhero fan, you're gonna see it anyway, and you're probably you're gonna go. But anyway, guys, that was my short little review. If you like that, go ahead and give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for Nate and Connor. I believe this Saturday, maybe Sunday, they will upload their spoiler review, which will probably be a longer episode, because that's, unfortunately, I can't be a part of that due to scheduling conflicts, because I really want to dive into some spoilers, but I can't. So I just thought I would make the short spoiler-free review. Anyway, guys, have a nice day. Go see the movie. I'll see you guys later.